I can look in this camera just like he looks into the camera and talk to America. And when I tell you, when I'm serious about that, Stephen A., keep that same energy, my guy. Keep that same energy. And I put that on Alizine Black, my dude. Keep that same energy that you did with your podcast. Keep it the same. That's all I got to say.
Terrell Owens came and gave Stephen A. Smith the business. He exposed that Stephen A. Smith is a liar. And what he's trying to do is tarnish the reputation and the name of Terrell Owens at any cost. And what we saw here was a man basically tell him that, look, you gonna have to be the man that you claim that you are on national television. You're gonna have to keep that same energy. I don't want to hear, hey, bro, here's what I mean. This is it. This is what I mean about the whole thing. Now, when you look at the main cause of all of these analogies you've seen made about Terrell Owens coming from Stephen A. Smith, they were never coming from an angle from a man who really had respect and love for T.O. He despised him because he wasn't a company man. The way he went after Donovan McNabb, I disagreed with, because not only Donovan McNabb is my cousin, I felt it was quite disrespectful than the manner that he was choosing to go after Donovan McNabb. For a black man to do that to another black man, that wasn't fair. It's his choice on who he wants to endorse, period. He's not the man that signs your contract. So that ain't got nothing to do why he ain't stick up for me to get a contract. That's not his job. He don't have to if he doesn't want to. So that's beside this point here. What he's making about Stephen A. Smith and what he's saying about him is 100% honesty. He explained what happened here on All the Smoke. Credit to them for doing this and giving the platform to T.O. to express himself. But what he was doing was laying a foundation so that they can go ahead and try to squash this thing. Because they cool with Stephen A. too, from a business perspective. But deep down, they don't like that bastard either. Nobody really does. They know he's full of it. So if you know that, then you know this. Respect goes both ways. And if you think just because ESPN put all these millions of dollars in your pocket that you could just diss T.O., okay, he gonna let it be known on everything he loves. You gonna have to be that man that you claim you are when you see him face to face. Be the same guy that you are on this internet. Not too many people can do that, but T.O. gonna make you hold yourself to it. I guarantee you, if you ever see him again, Stephen A., you gonna have to hold up to that. T.O. ain't gonna let that go.
Platform really kind of to really tarnish and really attack my character. You know what I mean? Okay. Who I am as a person. Okay. You know what I mean? So regardless of however he started his monologue and his thing with his podcast, trying to build me up to break me down, we all see through that. You know what I mean? And all the people he's talking about that has reached out to them, this, that, and the other, from GMs to players and coaches, who gives a shit? To be quite honest, because I've had people, you know, that have reached out to me, players as well. You know, and some of the people that he thinks are cool with him, they're not cool with him. So before I go on my diatribe, Stephen A., can't be a soliloquy because I'm here with these guys, but I will address some of those things. He didn't like Max, or he didn't like working with Max. Okay. And so, obviously, Max ended up getting fired, blah, 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 blah. So fans took to that interview and they brought up, okay, well, this is why T.O. said what he said. Okay. So I kept getting tagged on the video, and in my phone, I'm like, yo, what's going on? So I saw the comments or what have you, and I haven't backed down from anything. I just said facts and just left it at that. He took offense to that. Then he went on his podcast and said that I posted it, which I didn't. And even in my response to that, and I'm like, genius, I retweeted it. I didn't actually post it. I didn't go out of my way to go bring everything up. It was only a response to that interview that he did with Joe Budden about Max that all the fans, brought it up. So he took offense, to that. And so that's where it all resurfaced. Something going on, I guess we were talking about the Kaepernick situation. And somehow there was a text exchange between me and him.
Between you and Stephen A?
Me and Stephen A.
Okay.
And he, on air, he mentioned something about the text, which I didn't give him consent to do. Honest, I didn't go out of my way to go file a lawsuit. I had an attorney that reached out to me, like, yo, that's not right. It's copyright infringement, something along those lines.
Gotcha. Oh, so someone just reached out, an attorney came and found you about it and said, do you want to pursue action
this is what happens. Like, he can't do that. So It wasn't really him. It was I looked at ESPN. Okay. ESPN has dogged me over the years, mischaracterized me, having people having misunderstandings about who I am. Whether as far as my character is concerned, everybody's talking about I'm arrogant, I'm selfish. Of course, I've had disagreements with some players, some coaches, but who hasn't back in the day?
Okay.
But as time has surpassed, a lot of people have a different opinion about who Stephen was then and who he is now.
Okay.
I'm one of those people. So regardless of that, me and Stephen A., we ain't buddy. You know what I mean? Whether he talks good or bad about me on his show, whether it's objective or subjective, that's his job.
Okay. I
didn't know Stephen A. prior to me, I guess, our initial meeting. I guarantee he knew about me because of my play before I knew about him. So we're not buddy.
Okay.
At the end of the day. And so again, back to my point. The attorney reached out. He said, this is what we're going to do. He went after ESPN. He submitted the file or the claim to ESPN, and that's how things started. But for him to say and allude or insinuate that it's a money grab or something like that, that's not cool. You know what I mean? To insinuate, oh, I'm broke, this and that and the other, because these are certain things, like I said, that it's personal. You know what I mean? It's no secret. I was represented by Drew and Jason Rosenhaus. They referred me to Pro Sports Financial, who's a financial advisor, and Jeff Rubin. It's public knowledge, bro. I got taken advantage of. They stole a lot of my money. Anybody that knows me, I didn't just go blow my money. You know what I mean? So yeah, do I have the millions that I had back then? Absolutely not. But for him to go on TV and insinuate certain these things that I did X, Y, Z, and I'm desperate, that's not cool, bro.
That ain't nobody's business.
I'm not gonna let that slide. So at the end of the day, and I called him, I told him, yo, keep that same energy. You're gonna call me a sorry ass and I'm pathetic, things of that nature. I'm trifling. If I ever come across him, keep that same energy. It's not a threat, but you're not gonna use that platform to downgrade me as a person and what I've accomplished for your benefit, because you have a platform to do that. And then talk about and bring up all these top name people or high qualified, I guess, in his name, to demean me. He mentioning the Donovan McNabb, the Brian Dawkins, the Primes, you know what I mean? Shannon Sharp, talking about GMs and players, talking about don't go after him like that. What have I ever done? Then holding up papers in his podcast like he got something on me. He's gonna expose me. Expose me for what? I urge him to. I give him permission to expose me because I've never done anything. You don't have anything on me. You got the world looking at me crazy like you got something on me. So if you do, please let it be known. In front of his audience, his millions of subscribers, like you said, his soliloquy, to share his thoughts with all the hearers or whatever the case may be. But for me, I wanted to share that with everybody to give them some context as to what he's saying is not accurate. It's not totally true. For him to try to build me up and then bash me and attack my character, that's not going to fly with me. I want the same platform, like I said, to sit down and really share my story and let everybody know, like, yo, he's not who we think he is. And Stephen A., he's walking around like just because ESPN has padded his pockets with some millions, he's walking around like he's us, like he's an athlete, like he got that kind of cachet. And then, like I said, mentioning guys that obviously I think highly of, talking about Dion and Shannon and these guys I come across with, on a regular. You know what I mean? That's not cool to be name dropping. You know what I mean? Because now I'm around these guys and I'm like, okay, well, how do they really feel about me? You know what I mean? How do they think about me? You know what I mean? So that's where I am with it. You know what I mean? So as he said in this podcast, we don't ever have to speak again.
Okay.
Never, ever. But make no mistake about it. I don't try to be no badass, no nothing, bro. Anybody know me, I'm easygoing, I'm cool. I've kept my nose clean because I was raised the right way, bro.
Right.
But you're not finna sit up here and try to bash me or attack my character in front of millions and sit on ESPN with your compadres or what have you and act like you bad and you this and that and the other. That's not gonna fly with me. But like I told him, keep that same energy. And I'm like saying, I'm not condoning no violence, but you're not finna disrespect me. You know what I mean? Because when it comes to the player, that has nothing to do with that. That has nothing to do with this.
Man, you to understand this is my personal
But
thing.
to your point, like I said, to add some clarity to things, like I said, and certain things are misleading as if I went back and somebody sent me a clip of some of the things that he said. And then even with the lawsuit thing, I showed you guys. He admittedly in the text from our text exchange, he's like, oh, I'm mistaking your text for a tweet.
Yeah.
That's what the attorney was referring to. He admitted that. I showed you guys that. That's in our text conversation. I ain't got no reason to lie about nothing. And I ain't got nothing to hide. So for him to come out initially when he saw the whole facts thing in response to that, and somebody he gonna expose me for what?
Right.
I urge you to expose me. But at this end of the day, like I said, he feels the way he feels. I feel the way I feel. Like I told you, we're not buddy. I don't never have to talk to Stephen A. again in my entire life. He can sit on ESPN, do what use all the big words he wants to impress everybody. That doesn't impress me. Now, like I said, he's used that platform to tear some black athletes down. And even I'm included that. You try to build them up, tear them down with your words, this and that and the other, your monologues. Bro, I can see past all of that. But you're not finna just do it to me. A lot of guys are not gonna say anything. I can look in this camera just like he looks into the camera and talk to America. And when I tell you, when I'm serious about that, Stephen A., keep that same energy, my guy. Keep that same energy. And I put that on Alizine Black, my dude. Keep that same energy that you did with your podcast, keep it the same. That's all I gotta say.